everyone, and welcome to my YouTube channel, Love Super G. My name is Gigi, and I will be your storyteller on this channel, and I will be telling you guys stories of all things supernatural, superstitious, super scary, super spooky. I'm going to be telling you guys alien stories, ghost stories, and sometimes I will throw in some true crime stories in there for you. As you can see, I don't have my lights set up yet or my green screen. I had a goal to start my YouTube channel this week during the Valentine's Day week. That was my goal, and I wasn't 100% prepared, but I said, let me go ahead and just start tonight. It is Valentine's Day Eve, so we're going into Valentine's Day. I'm coming to you from my basement, and I am having some orange spice tea, and I'm going to tell you guys the story of Emily. I'm also going to explain how Emily's story, from the 1800s, of course, how her story relates to a term called ghosting now. So there's a term called ghosting this day and age, and I will get more into what ghosting is after I tell you the story of Emily's bridge. So let's get started. So in 1849, there was a young girl named Emily. She was about 16 years old. She was a very beautiful young lady, very intelligent, loved her family, just an all-over good kid. She came from a poor family though, so they were very poor. And Emily one day meets this young guy, young handsome man. I'm not sure what his name is, but she meets this young man and they fall in love. They start seeing each other every day after school, sneaking to, the lake and just holding hands and talking. And this young man, coming from this wealthy family, and back then, things were a little different than it is today. His family, his mom and dad, they were against him dating this girl who was poor. They did not want to mix and mingle with a poor family. So they told him to cut it off, to just stop talking to her, just leave it alone, because they would never become anything, because the parents, they just didn't approve of this love connection. So he heard it. He heard what they were saying, and he was hurt. But, he kept dating Emily. And one day he told Emily, hey, Emily, I want to marry you. Let's run away and let's get married. And she's like, all with it, like, yes, love, let's do this. So he's like, Emily, meet me at the Gold Covered Brook Bridge. Meet me there tonight. Meet me around 6 o'clock. Meet me. So that's what Emily does. She gets in her prettiest dress, her prettiest pink dress, and has her hair long and flowing, and she walks over to the bridge and she waits. She waits for her love to arrive. And she waits. And she waits. So 20 minutes has gone by. And she waits. She knows he's coming. An hour goes by. He still hasn't shown up. Emily is starting to, get really confused and upset. And then another hour passes. So it's been about 2 hours now. Emily is confused. She's distraught. She's heartbroken. She's sad. And she doesn't understand, what could have happened to him. And in just a moment of emotion, she just decides to take her life. So Emily jumps off of this bridge and her head hits the rocks and she dies instantly. Emily took her life because she was stood up by her lover, who she thought, she was going to marry. And that's the main version of the story I've heard. There's another story I've heard. Emily and her lover were scheduled to get married at the church, and everyone was there, but he didn't show up. The lover didn't show up. That's the other story. And Emily, when he didn't show up, Emily jumped into a horse carriage and rode off on this horse carriage, and she was distraught, and she lost control of the horse, and they're saying she fell off the bridge that way. So that's one other version of the story. And then there was another story I've heard, but I don't hear it too much. But some people say that the lover's mom showed up to the bridge instead of him, and the mom murdered Emily. So that's the third version of the story, but the main version is the one I believe. You can make up your mind on which one that you feel might be, the truth. Let me know below in the comments what you think. And so now, this day and age, once again, like I said, it's in Stowe, Vermont. This bridge called the Golden Brook Covered Bridge. It's also called Emily's Bridge. This bridge is haunted by Emily. Visitors say that, when they go and they drive across this bridge, if you listen, you can hear her feet on top of the car sometimes. Or you can hear her scratching the doors. And if you get out and take a look, you'll see scratches on your car door. So that is the story of some of the stories that I hear about visiting Emily's Bridge. Another one, I've heard a guy, he said that he actually drove to the bridge, turned his car off, and got out and started walking, and his car turned on and the radio started, blasting. Other visitors, they can hear a girl scream at night and there's no girl around, and they believe it's Emily. And it's pretty sad that Emily isn't a mean ghost. Emily is a heartbroken ghost. So I'm sure, I've never been to the bridge, not yet, but I'm sure that there's a feeling of sadness at that bridge, and just being heartbroken. She didn't understand what was going on, which brings me to the ghosting term that I wanted to talk about that we have going on this day and age. So ghosting is when you are dating someone, or you're romantically seeing someone, and you guys are hitting it off. You guys, it seems like you're falling in love, or maybe in love. At least you think. You think that, until one day that person just ups in and disappears on you. They stop calling you. They stop texting you. They may block you off of social media. They just fall off the face of the earth, and they're just not talking to you, and you're not understanding. You're reaching out, hey, what's going on? And there's just no explanation or goodbye. That is the term ghosting. And I hope none of you all have ever experienced ghosting, but I do think that's what happened with Emily. She was ghosted by her lover. She thought they was going to get married. Hey, you love me, and then you just disappeared. Like, that's very hurtful. Let me know down in the comments if you've ever experienced ghosting, or have you ever ghosted anyone. It's a very hurtful feeling, I'm sure. I haven't been through ghosting to the point where I was in love with anybody, but I've had an interest with a person before and talked to them, for a little while, and then they just ghosted me. Just stopped talking to me. We were talking every day, and then just one day just stopped talking to me, for them to pop back up some months later saying hello and what's up, and by then I'm like, I'm over it. I'm the type of person, I'm over it. Like, you do something like that to me, I'm done with you. But in Emily's case, you know, she took it very hard, and she took her life, and she still walks at that bridge, and probably in hopes that her spirit is probably in hopes that her love is going to show up. But that's the story of Emily's Bridge, and just brief mention of the term ghosting. Let me know if you guys ever experience ghosting. Let me know what you think about Emily's Bridge. Do you believe in that story? Let me know. And that was it for my first story. I hope to see you guys the next episode. Please subscribe, like and subscribe, share my video, click the little bell next to subscribe so that you can receive notifications. You guys are joining me during this journey. This is my first day of content creation with YouTube, and I want to post videos often and stories often. I have some fun things in store for you guys, and soon I'll have my whole setup going. So hope you guys tune in, and until next time.